I am with the Ky Woodsman again, and I'm going to do part 4 of my series of starting fires in different methods. And today what I'm going to do is show you how to start a fire with the bow drill. It's one of the many methods that you can do. And again, what I'm going to use is cedar bark as our main ignition bundle to catch the spark and all. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of thistle to that too, because the thistle is so thin that it seems to catch a spark really good. Also, what we're going to use, let me get my camera down here for you. Okay, also what we're going to use, I took some of these cedar pieces that I cut up, and what I did is I split it out, and cedar makes a really good fireboard. So anyway, I've made a few notches and stuff in here, so I'm going to use this as my fireboard. We're going to try the cedar out. Again, we're going to take some of the cedar bark off here. We're going to process this up just like we did before. I've got some thistle here, and when the flower is kind of a pinkish purple color, once that fades away and it turns kind of like a whitish brown, then you pull the pod off, and then I usually split a stick and stick the end of the pod in there and tighten it down, and that holds it. But this stuff here is really good. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in with my bark on my cedar, and that'll catch the spark really nice for us. So also what we'll do here is got a little forked stick that I've cut off about that long, and I'm just going to tie a piece of tarred bank line to it. I usually use leather, and leather does pretty good. It stretches a little bit while you're making the fire though, so you've got to kind of wrap your finger in it to torque it and tighten it up. I've never used bank line before. I thought, well, I'll just experiment, see how this does today too. And then all I did was for the top of my spindle, where I hold on to it, I've just split out a little stick and carved me a little hole in it, and then normally on the top of my spindle that turns back and forth, this might sound crazy, but if you run this along the side, each side of your nose, you've got oil on the side of each side of your nose, and it'll put enough oil on that. Do it a couple times to where it won't get hot and bind up on you on the top. And then the bottom I just round off a little bit. This is actually a piece of yucca stalk that I've strong, and yet it's soft enough to where it'll make a really hot powder there, so into our cedar board. And then at the end of our stick, I'm going to tie just a little piece of a stick on there on the end of our bow saw, and that way I can weave it through and tighten it up as needed. So anyway, let's put all this stuff together here and see what we've got. Okay, so first thing I've done is on my bank line, I've got a pretty heavy gauge bank line. I tied a little knot at the end of it, just an overhand type loop knot, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove this one through it like so, and then in the back of my stick I've carved a notch. I don't know if you can see that well, but I'm going to run that right around it just like so, just like that, and tighten it up, and that way that can't slide up. And then I'm going to take my little stick here and take it out to about the end of this right here. I hope you can see this. It's so bright I can't see my viewfinder. I'm going to take it and run it around and run it over twice like so, and then I'm just going to tie a regular square knot in it and secure it. That's all you really need. And do it one more time here, just like that. Just tighten it up. Okay, and then what we'll do is run this around the two forks here. I'm just going to weave it through a couple of times. Just like that. And it looks to be just a little bit tight, but that's fine because it's going to end up loosening up on us. But that'll work pretty good right there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and process our bark, and I just like to crumble it all up, just like my other videos. You just want to take it and crumble it all up into a bunch of hair-like fibers, and the better you do this, the better chances are that a spark's going to catch and you'll actually produce a fire. Just get rid of all that dust. See the dust that's falling out of it? I'll just get rid of that. All she wants the hair. Just keep mashing it all up. And then we'll take a little bit of that thistle down. And mix it with it. Take your time on this part here, because this is what's going to matter. If it doesn't catch a spark, you ain't going to get a fire. So you want this just as dry as you can. If you're out in the woods and it's been raining, try to get on the side of the tree that the rain's not hitting up against. And then you might have to go through the first outer layer of the bark, scrape that off with your knife, but the inside should be somewhat dry. And you know, just don't fixate on one tree either, because that one tree might be soaked, but look around at a few others, and hopefully out of the whole bunch of them there'll be one that's a little bit more sheltered and a little drier. Okay, so that's pretty good. That looks really nice and broke up well, so we'll take that and set it there, and then get some of this thistle down. Just pull one or two of those out of it, and then just work that in. And then cattail is good to work in here too if you happen to have that. What cattail tends to do is it tends to hold the spark. So once you get it glowing, it's kind of hard to put it out with the cattail mixed in here. The thistle down tends to with how thin and hair-like it is, it tends to catch a spark better. So one of them will catch it, and then the cedar will flare it up. That's good fuel for a spark. And then the cattail will hold it so it doesn't go out. So the three of them are really good if you put them all together. Okay, so we got that done. We're going to set this aside. So let's see what we can do as far as putting all this together. Alright, what I've done is I've fitted this together, and you want to take your main stick and put it in behind like this, and then bring it down and under and kind of wrap the stick around it, and then you're going to have to kind of move it back and forth because that bank line is going to be a little bit tight. And I try to get it as low as I can to where I don't hit the ground with my hand, but then as low as you can toward the fireboard too. And then we'll put that in our little notch and put our holder on top of it, and then I'll grab it back and I kind of pinch it. You can see my hand on the left here. I kind of pinch this where I can push down with my thumb and up with my fingers to tighten it, because it's going to loosen up on you a little bit as you go. Alright, and then brace your hand against your leg. Back up just a pinch. Hope you can see this well. Brace your hand up against your leg. We do have a problem today. I've got a pretty good wind, so I'm going to put this cedar log on this side, hopefully to block a little bit of that wind, because the wind will cool your spark down. It's no good at all on it. I'll put our little bundle there to block it too. When you're doing this with the bow saw, you need to try to get to a lower little place where there's no wind, because it'll definitely cool your coals as they're produced. So keep that in mind when you're trying to make it out on your camping trip or whatever. Okay, here we go. I'm going to zoom it in just a little bit so you can see it, what it's doing here. Okay, we watch for smoke, and then we want to keep the smoke going, and then as it smokes more, go a little faster. And what you're doing is you're building up coals, and as hotter coals go on top, they're kind of like an oven. They're cooking the ones underneath, and it's getting it at a real hot temperature until it actually starts glowing. So we want to keep this thing going as long as possible, building up a deep coal, and that way we can have something that'll produce a fire. One thing I haven't done here that I need to, and I'm going to stop and redo, is I need to put something underneath this So when I take the fireboard off, I can pick my coal up and put it inside my tinder bundle. So let's do that right now. Alright, here we go. Already starting to smoke. The softer the wood, the quicker it'll smoke for you. And you want to fill the notch up is what you want to do. So to keep smoking and then start going faster. I'm tightening up on my string. Keep it going. You want it to get hot. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, see it glowing. I don't know if you can see this, but it's glowing real good. Blowing it. Let's put that in our fire bundle, or tinder bundle. And then we're going to push it down in there. Back this up. And there's some fire for you folks, and that's how you make a friction fire. Thank you for watching my videos again, and if you get out in the woods and maybe try some of these methods, they're a lot of fun, and it's nice to know that they still work. And if you forget your matches at home, then at least you can get you some sticks, some of your bank line, and make you a fire anyway. So God bless y'all, and thank you for joining me at the Kentucky Woodsman.